Afternoon, everyone. I found myself with an hour to kill, and so I thought I'd just come in and talk to you all. And Callum has joined me. Callum is my assistant, I suppose, is your job role,
Yep,
isn't it?
that works.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. Callum is someone who does all of the essential things that I need doing that make the sort of the recent tour of the United States, a little mini tour of the US. Stuff like that is not possible without Callum. So to Callum, I am eternally grateful. And you did a great job with all of that, by the way, man. You like
Thanks.
no problems at all. Like the only thing that happened was that the plane was cancelled the night before, and that's obviously the not your fault. So it's just like Christ, this you did a really good job with that, man.
Well, I'm glad to hear it went well, to be honest. I
Yeah,
was I was expecting two or three things to go wrong and nothing did.
yeah, I did. I'm genuinely pleased. Like the whole thing went great. The Utah event was amazing. Like mad energy there. Actually, everyone was really thrilled with what happened. With the talk and stuff like that. And the one at Penn State was interesting because Hunter Avalone was speaking first, which was great. And he decided to come out and say actually. There's data to suggest that conservatives aren't being censored on college campuses, and so here's essentially the argument for you're wrong and you're viewing this wrong. I don't agree with him on that. I actually think the conservatives are getting BTFO'd in many ways deliberately by Silicon Valley, but it's really interesting how the event was the opposite. It was not an echo chamber at all. It was that like two very contradictory positions were being represented, and it turned into a debate. And I don't really, but a friendly one, like a discussion on the issue. And I don't think anyone was really expecting it to be quite that. So good job, Hunter, by the way, for keeping it as not just an echo chamber and a backslapping event. But the whole thing went really good, and it was really great to meet loads of people, and it was really fun. So thanks everyone for coming out and joining us, because it was really great. Um,
Yeah, I suppose I should also offer the thanks to the guys on the grounds. There was a guy called Shane, a guy called
yes,
Sean, and a guy called Anthony, were just fantastic.
yeah,
So if they're
yeah.
listening, all thanks to you. We have our first super chat, by the way.
Well, yeah, just very quickly, yeah, that I was going to move on to that. All of the people who were working with us from Turning Point USA were incredible, completely professional, and they got absolutely everything done on time. As far as I can tell, there have been no delays or cock ups or anything like that. I mean, it's actually kind of amazing how well everything worked because, like, just the nature of organizing so many different people in so many different times and places, you would think there would have been just by process of chance, some giant cock up that nobody's really responsible for, but absolutely everything went flawlessly. Honestly, and they were all such nice people as well, so professional and nice. Yeah, really can't speak more highly about it. But yeah, go for it, man.
All right. So first one from Kelmati. Ball
Oh,
bags rejoice. Sargon is streaming. How's it going, fella?
hey man, how's it going? Where's the next ball bag of the week? I love the one on Ian Blackford, who's this Scottish National Party politician. For anyone in the chat who doesn't know, and he is absolutely insufferable, and the whole thing is just really it. He's the argument for Scottish independence. Like I don't want to have to deal with people like him in politics. Like get them out of Westminster. I'm a unionist, so I'm not saying I'm for that, but like, man, I just really hate that guy.
I mean, he's sort of the entire SNP. Let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
Carl's have been watching a lot of the SNP conferences and stuff for research, and good God, the entire party in a man. Probably him and Nicola is the right way to be in charge of that.
it's incredible, isn't it? And the thing is, like, I've been thinking about this a lot with the sort of devolved assemblies. They've just become a hotbed for separatism, and it's. I mean, it probably was inevitable that would be the case, but like, is that something we should be fostering? It doesn't seem wise to foster that.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of amazing. I mean, Danks pointed this out. Academic Agent's done a pretty good rundown of how they're not nationalists. There was a guy in UKIP who was
Yeah.
fantastic at this. Is running down. He was a bit more extreme. He run down how they are very similar to the National Socialists, which I'm not going to comment on. We should meet him at some point and have him run it down for you because it's very convincing.
Well, I'm already sold, to be honest. So he
Okay,
doesn't
well
need
never
to.
mind.
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to sell me on that. I agree. They are basically Nazis. and that's on record. Skeckles, what game is this? This is Warhammer 40,000 Gladius. This is just a lazy stream where I just get things off my chest, and you guys in the chat can ask me comments, questions and stuff. And Islam is right about Diane Abbott. That is that's brilliant. Just Zarathustra based, yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, it's all been going wild though. I've obviously had to be keeping track of everything that's going on while I'm in America, which is not easy because when you're outside of Britain, you realize just how saturated the media here is with Brexit. I had to go out of my way to dig stuff up on Brexit because in America it's other issues that are in the news, and honestly it made me angry to come back to it. Like, I bet the tone in my videos is completely different now I think about it. Like, I'm probably quite mild-mannered about stuff in America and having fun with it. Get back with Brexit, I'm just angry. And I can feel that I'm angry about it. It's like, I wish they'd just shut the fuck up and do it.
Yeah, I think I sent you the end of your last video about Brexit, and you're sort of getting to the point where I'm a bit like, take a chill pill. Yeah, it's bad,
yeah,
but it's always
right.
bad.
But seriously, they can just move to the continent if they don't like it. If they like that so much, just fucking go.
Yeah, like, it's not wrong, so...
Yeah, no, it's not wrong. I mean, like, if they want to be proud Europeans, well, there's the continent of Europe. Oh, that's not a bit. Continent of Europe right there. Just go on, man.
We've got another super chat from Calamati.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on one regarding the snakes on a train. 6 ball bags is a lot to cover, but yeah, the Blackford one kick-started my channel, lol.
Well, I look forward to it. I've been enjoying those. They're like the antithesis of like Dank's Mad Lads, where Dank's got here's a really interesting guy that I'm going to talk about. Here's a total tit that I'm going to talk about. Is what Calamati's doing. It's really great stuff.
Yeah, I was about to ask what the hell they work, so I don't actually...
it's just Calamati's got a YouTube channel, and he's just been doing these quite fun videos about really insufferable Remainer politicians. And I totally agree with him. Like, they absolutely are completely insufferable. And I'm just so sick of it. Just shut the fuck up. Just get it done.
Not a word of disagreement. I'm going to give him a sub.
Yeah.
I got a super chat from Matthew Witherspoon. Oi, love, I need the show about the Civil War 2.
Civil War 2? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, as in, like, we're at that point.
Well, I assume that's what he means, because, I mean, we basically are, in a lot of ways. Like, there's no further compromise that can be made on either side, I think. I mean, what have the Remainers actually compromised on at this point? They've done everything they can to try and stop Brexit, and it's just unacceptable. The whole point of referendums is not policy, it's about direction. And they can't seem to accept the direction, and it's like, well, then you've got to choose what you're going to do. Because the direction has been chosen, and we can't undermine that. We can't go back on that. So, what now?
I mean, it was interesting to see...
Hello.
Hello?
All right.
Hello. All right, yeah, not too bad. Hey, Callum, can you...
No,
John, we're live here, man. We're live.
Oh,
so,
sorry, man.
It's all right. I know. I should have said or done something. So, yeah. But right.
Do you want to leave the call?
Yeah.
Sorry,
we'll talk to you later, man, about stuff, whatever it is we're working
on. That's John. He's the guy you see behind the camera sometimes, the purple hair. Another super chat. Glad you finally came to Central Pennsylvania, Sargon. My leftist friends had a meltdown when they were trying to figure out why their center-left friend was going to see a fascist. Lol. Keep up the good work, man. From Logan.
Thanks, man. And I tell you what, man, this is the thing. There were a couple of people there who wanted to who challenged us. And one of them, I mean, they both just had, like, so the two black girls who were there had narratives that were based in identity politics, obviously. And so when me and Hunter sort of, like, turned this around, you could see they were like, oh, right. Because we explained why we think treating them differently because they're black is racist. Because we do, and that's generally the sort of liberal perspective. It's procedural. Like, don't treat people in a certain way and then you are not being racist. But they were viewing it in the progressive sort of conceptual, if it's not the same, therefore it is racist. And we explained our position and they were like, oh, okay then. Fair enough. And then there was this other guy who literally just didn't know what he was talking about, and that was the problem. So we just sat there going, okay, but what about this information? What about this information? And he just didn't have any answers for this. And this was about like character judgments against me as well. So it was like the low information progressive voter basically. And you could see he was angry at me because I wasn't what the media had portrayed me as. And it's like, well, look, I'm sorry, but why aren't you angry at them for lying to you? Like specifically, he didn't know what my actual like thoughts on things were, and like I could back this up with like timestamps and videos, which I did, and he was just like, well, and it's like, well, you just didn't know. Why were you so angry? You let the media tell you who to hate. That's such a bizarre thing when you think about it. I'm not letting someone tell me who to hate. If I decide I'm going to hate someone, I'll be the one who decides who I hate. Like, call me a radical. I guess that's far right. I don't fucking know. Yeah.
Anyway, I should probably get the next one.
Yeah.
Hey Sargon, how are you enjoying Themalina so far? I should have a third book done soon. I'll send you a copy of Xmas when it's done. I'm assuming that's a book on your pile of books that you've got to read.
Yeah, who's that from? Marussia.
Marussia Dark, yeah.
Yeah, man, I've not read anything. I have not had any time. It's probably going to be a while as well. I'm going to be honest. It's not that I don't want to. It's I can't find the time to watch fiction. I mean, I'm finding an hour to play a video game, and I'm going to be going and doing other things, and like I'm still streaming in that because I think I should work all the time. It's weird.
I mean, he's got a schedule online, and it's quite funny just filling it up and then thinking, oh god.
Yeah, Callum's the one who keeps my schedule as well. That's so.
Yeah, so blame me. That's fine.
yeah, but I haven't got any time, man. I'm sorry.
Apparently, you've cucked Dev's stream.
Yeah, sorry, Dev. I didn't even realize. Sorry, I'm really sorry, man. I had no idea that Dev was streaming. Go watch Dev's stream. It's going to be more interesting than this stream, I promise.
Come back.
Yeah.
As a Jew here, my thoughts on your recent video on Jews and rape. I saw an ad. If you want to get banned from YouTube, you'll have to try harder.
Yeah, it's based in Red Pilled YouTube has monetized that video. So thank you,
Jesus.
YouTube.
I thought you got demonetized.
No, that was my main channel, not this channel.
I know, I mean that particular video.
No, that was monetized. But the thing is, it's because there was nothing objectionable about it. Like I'm not being bigoted against Jewish people, because what this is, right? Think about, and I probably should have said this in the video, but it didn't occur to me how to explain this until afterwards. Like, there is the stereotype that is produced by Jewish people who work in Hollywood about Jews that I'm guessing is from their own personal perspective, right? And the example of this is Howard from The Big Bang Theory. Now, the guys who produced The Big Bang Theory, I looked this up on Wikipedia, they're both Jewish. And Howard is an obviously Jewish man with the typical stereotypical sort of Jewish mum, like loud, belligerent, controlling, right? This is the common stereotype. And this like little guy is like, oh, I just want to get out and get away and get married. And you can totally empathize with that position. If I had a really controlling mum, I might have like strange views on women as well.
I mean, you do have the same thing with Raj there. In,
yeah.
So it's not uncommon.
And for me, I just can't understand the sort of attitude that these guys seem to take towards women. Because if you listen to Harvey Weinstein, the leaked audio of him trying to get sex from, I don't know, some Italian model or actress or something. But someone recorded this audio and leaked it. And this is what the rabbi was talking about. The character of what Harvey's doing is he felt it was very Jewish inherently, like the culture. And honestly, I'm listening to thinking, well, it's totally outside of my cultural understanding of how I would treat a woman, and that's something that Harvey Weinstein is doing because it's within his cultural understanding. And that's not Jews at large, religious Orthodox Jews, like the Israeli nationalist Jews, no, I don't even think British Jews are like that, I think and I don't even think there's all Jews in America, because I've met lots of Jews in America, and I'm thinking it's a very particular left-wing cultural bubble in like Hollywood and New York, and that's the kind of thing, and that's the Hollywood culture, the stereotype that like that sort of culture is produced of Jews, I don't think is a universal one at all. And that's why there's absolutely nothing wrong with what I said, but what I said was true and accurate. So
I think it was more worrying about, because there was that release of, I can't remember which video it was, but they've released how individual words were setting off YouTube's demonetization bot. A lot of them were LGBT and things like this. So.
Well, I had to appeal it, and and they manually monetized it.
Got a friend at YouTube.
But what I said was totally true and not an attack on Jewish people. You know, it's not
Yeah.
even an attack on that culture. It's actually empathizing that, you know, maybe there is something that's worth talking about with the stereotype. You know, maybe there is.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, but it's not bigotry, and that's the important thing, because you know that literally just speaking about the topic is tantamount to bigotry. And it's like, well, sorry, I grew up watching like this stereotype being portrayed in Hollywood films and stuff like that, and on TV series that I liked. You know, it's a funny aspect of life. Don't now tell me that I can't even observe it. 'Cause that's bullshit.
Yeah. Just came over from Dev's weekly sip. He says, "F you, Sargon, for stealing his audience."
Dev, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't know. I was just because I haven't had when was the last time I watched a fucking YouTube video? You know what I mean? Like I just thought, right, okay, my calendar's saying, right, I've got an hour to kill. I would like to play some Gladius and just chat to you guys, and because I know I haven't done a live stream in ages, and just say, hey, sorry, I've been away. I did try to do live streams and stuff with Arch when I was in America, but the hotel Wi-Fi is always shit. And so it's just not possible. But now I'm back on my main equipment. Everything, I can do it.
Ian Blackfoot is an insufferable word beginning with C that YouTube won't let me send from Cameron.
That is correct. And yeah, we've got Callum help me get all this stuff together so we can do a video about the Scottish National Party, because their position on Brexit and their position on Scottish independence is contradictory when in fact it should be the same thing. So yeah.
Something no one seems to be asking: how does Hillary Clinton know who is and isn't a Russian asset? Takes one to know one, I guess. Hashtag Mama Gabbard.
She did take a lot of money from Russia, didn't she? Hillary Clinton is something like 100 million or something from Russia that Hillary's taken in her time for the Clinton Foundation and people like this, organizations like this. But yeah, I love that Tulsi's just flamethrowing her. Like there was another video that she put out about Hillary just taking a giant shit on her, and it's like, Hillary, what she's saying is true. Like the corruption, that's you. Everyone knows it. What you're saying is like, oh, everyone I hate is a Russian asset. It doesn't hold any water.
Yeah, like no one's buying that.
No.
I just wanted to see Sargon and the Spiffing Brit stream strategy game. The amount of Britishness would restore the Empire. Best wishes from Sweden.
Thanks, man. I don't actually know who the Spiffing Brit is. Like I said,
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't think so. Not. Oh, I don't think I am, but I'm like not on purpose. Like,
Okay, no.
I'm totally out of the loop with everything.
This is why I've been trying to get you into Hearts of Iron 4. We
Right.
really should do a stream at some point and get some of these guys to join us. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, that does sound great.
Actually, I don't know. Put I don't know, F in the chat if you think we should. I don't know. Just see if the audience want to see Hearts of Iron 4. I don't know. Anyway.
I suspect that some of them will want to.
Okay, I wonder if we can get the US government to do a weapons deal with British rebels like they did with the Middle Eastern rebels.
Well, one thing we're not fomenting on this channel is revolution, because, you know, I don't want to get shut down.
And no other reason, okay.
No, right. Obviously, there are lots of reasons. I've always said the democratic process is what we're going to use, because we can do it. You know, it is possible. It just takes us the boldness to say, you know, I actually don't care about the moral judgments of progressives, because I'm starting to think that the sort of people who want to transition children and like make them take hormones and stuff, I think they might be in the wrong. You know, that's the kind of moral fortitude we have to approach them with. And once we do that, the whole thing is actually remarkably easy to unravel. It's just a really powerful form of social manipulation, really, is what the progressives use. But as soon as you realize that you don't have to do it and you become free from it, man, it's really liberating. It really opens up new horizons for shit posting, I tell you. Let's go to the next one.
Have you seen Carl Kalinski's appearances at Politicon this year? Good stuff.
No, I haven't. When you say good stuff, in what way are you talking? Because I still watch some of Carl's videos occasionally, just to keep myself sort of in the left-wing loop when I have some time. Although I've got to admit, I've been watching David Pakman more than Carl Kalinski for the kind of left-wing populist position. and it's I've found David Pakman more interesting than Kyle recently.
God dang it.
Shade thrown.
The chat seemed to move, so I think I may have lost one. Sorry if I skip it. But the next one on my screen is behind every stereotype is a grain of truth.
Or a huge pile of truth. Like stereotypes are generally based on empirical, result, observation. Like what you're seeing about a group of people. If there are common traits, then that's what you're picking up on. And it's, I think it's something that humans do inherently and like can't really get around. I don't see how you can create an accurate model of the world if you're not stereotyping to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, it's the idea you've got to simplify things, right?
Well, yeah, you operate on heuristics. There's no getting around it.
Easy one. Hey, Sargon, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Probably T-Rex. To be stereotypical about it, I just think it's a pretty classic-looking dinosaur.
Someone sent a meat emoji for $20.
A meat emoji.
Okay. Evelyn
this
S.
Anti-vegan activism.
Okay.
I want an anti-vegan action T-shirt. I should make one. Actually, shouldn't I?
I'll design one. Sure.
Idea.
Yeah. So you're saying the answer to the JQ is the Nuke Hollywood from Mark Summerthink? No, I don't think he is. But...
No, I think Hollywood's nuking itself. I mean, like the stuff that Hollywood produces now is just shite. I don't know what else I'm gonna have to watch. Like the only thing I've seen in the last, like, I don't know, I can't even think how many years it's been. But I can't remember when the last time I watched something good was, apart from Joker. Like I'm actually taking my wife to see Joker later on, which is why the stream's only going to be an hour long, because it's she hasn't watched it yet, and it's a really great film. She wants, she's heard a lot of good things. She wants to see it. But other than that, like, what serious, incisive commentary or like solid storytelling have we actually seen out of Hollywood? I can't stand these superhero films generally. Like this CGI action, woohoo! I don't care.
Yep. Next one is, with the results of the Canadian election, secession movements have started in both the Midwestern provinces and that filthy place called Quebec. From Justin. Have you seen the results?
Yeah. Trudeau got a minority government, didn't he?
Yes. That was interesting. That
accepted his reward in blackface. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, what else is he going to do, really?
He's going to make a tradition in Canada. Every subsequent prime minister is going to do.
Traditional Canadian prime minister's blackface.
God. How do I help the honorary Americans in Hong Kong?
Well, the thing, before we move on, I just want to say, like the whole, I can't say how many times I've worn blackface in my life. It's like, really? That's weird, because I don't even think it's beyond the pale, and I can name the number of times I've done it. It's 0, because I'm not some gay drama student. But Justin Trudeau actually is, and seems to have rejoiced in painting his entire fucking body black. Like, this is, just, if that were Trump, right? If it was Trump, one instance of blackface from Trump, and it would be total condemnation, wall to wall. This would be it. This would be the thing that would destroy him. Trudeau does it on a regular basis and nobody cares. It's fucked up how inconsistent they're being on this. It's genuinely insufferable. And Obama endorsed him. It's like, dude, really? I don't know, man. Just the way they talk about it, as if this is the world's greatest thing that you could do wrong to a black person in the modern day. And Justin Trudeau is just constantly doing it. Sorry. All right, yeah, let's go to the next one.
How do I help honorary Americans in Hong Kong?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I honestly don't know what we can do. Like, I'm just being supportive because I can't think of anything else. But I totally support, no one wants to be given to China. China is actually turning into quite an awful state at the moment. I do view the Chinese government as a fascist government, in means and intent. The actual intent is, the sort of the capturing of all ethnic Chinese, because the ethnic Chinese are superior, is actually an opinion that they seem to hold, and they seem to operate like actual fucking Nazis, like concentration camps, Like, what we're hearing about what China's doing to its minorities, the Uyghurs, is just what we, I imagine the true horror of what's going on will actually come out at a later stage. And it will be a lot worse than we have access to now, because that's how these things tend to go. And then you've got the social credit system. I mean, there are millions of people in China who can't travel, who are actually blocked from flying or using trains. That's fucked up, man. Like, I'm traveling around, and you've got to get an ESTA if you're British and you're going to America, which is a form of like a light visa, basically. But then you get one that lasts for 2 years, so it's not it's very, very low impact on your life, and you just apply for it. It costs you fuck all. And so you get on these planes and you're traveling around all the time. You get I've got going through the TSA down to an art now. I can get through in about 10 minutes, assuming the queue isn't massive, because I know exactly what to take and what not to take, etc., etc. So you've got this remarkable freedom to travel around, and it's really easy. As long as especially if the only money we didn't take any of the money from the college, but the only money they put up, I didn't ask for a speaking fee at all. So all they do is get me some cheaper hotel and then a cheap flight over there. So they cover the transport costs, because they're students. They can't afford a massive amount, and it's kind of shameful that there are a bunch of conservative commentators that ask for like 20 grand and more. It's like, look, student groups generally don't have that kind of money. A lot of these guys are pulling it out of their own pockets. But yeah, so you don't think about the freedom of traveling, and then when you think, well, actually, if you were just unpopular enough with the Chinese government, you wouldn't be allowed to get an airplane ticket. That is actually wild. Like, that is horrific.
We don't really have to imagine this. I mean, think of Milo getting his PayPal tonight and whatnot. Imagine if he went to the airport and American Airlines wouldn't fly him, just because of what he's espousing on campuses.
The social credit system could be implemented in that way in the West. That's actually true, and it's actually scary.
If some folks were to petition American Airlines to do it and they did it, what would be the difference?
Yeah, and what would be the downside to American Airlines? It would be a massive PR coup for them as well. They'd actually be able to say, well, look, we're not letting these terrible, offensive people travel. Therefore, and the progressives would say, oh, this is such forward-thinking, progressive ideas. This is so good for our society. And it would just be this this media halo that glows around this airline for a brief second. And it would be a form of like encouraging them into the kind of cult mentality of it.
I don't think you should be giving them ideas. So let's move on. Has anyone mentioned al-Baghdadi yet?
Yes, yeah. I watched Trump's explanation of it. That was quite fun, wasn't it? Sort of Al-Big Daddy, basically. I mean, okay. Well, are you good? That's one less terrorist.
Yeah.
And I read in Black Flags, The Rise of ISIS. It talks about Baghdadi, and he's actually compared to what was the previous guy? Like, Trump said he was the founder of ISIS, and he's not the founder of ISIS.
Bill Clinton?
No. Zawahiri or something. It's been a couple of years since I've read the book.
Al-Qaeda in Iraq, yeah. And then he was the guy who was filmed wearing trainers. Yeah. They released the footage, and it really damaged his reputation because, suck him to the West.
Yeah. But I can't remember his name now. Zawahiri or something. He's the real founder of it. But Baghdadi was like a scholar. And he radicalized loads of people in the camps because he'd start leading prayers and stuff like this, and he'd have hundreds of hundreds of Al-Qaeda suspects and whatnot in these American camps, like essentially treating him like he was the caliph. So yeah, I mean, just radical jihadi terrorist type.
Point of Unity, he's dead. Good. Yeah. Computing Forever says evening.
Hey man.
Devon Stark says, Sargon, I can't say they'll change your mind, but talk to them. Talk to TFM for philosophy or Coltane for science. You and he agree more than either seem to think. I'm not sure who that is. TFM.
TFM. I don't know who that means. But I'm happy to talk to anyone, really.
I'll jot it down and I'll look up afterwards.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm happy to talk to anyone, really, about anything.
Okay. Hillary knows who a Russian asset is because it takes on to know one. Okay, and I've got to the Fs. So
yeah.
Oh god, there are a lot of Fs.
Oh god,
I think we need to get you playing Hearts of Iron just for a game.
no.
Oh, come on. But have you played
See,
Canada
this
or
is
something?
because Callum loves Hearts of Iron.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so do other people.
I don't have time to learn it because the Paradox games like that take ages to learn. It took me long enough to learn Crusader Kings.
Yeah, but was it worth it?
Well, yeah,
So
but I just don't have time. Like this was ages ago when I didn't have this kind of like limits on my time.
well, I'll have a look at your calendar and see what I can do. I'm Scottish. I want us to pay England reparations for Ian Blackford.
Well, I don't know if reparations is necessary. I think you can just have him back. Just
Yeah, that'll work.
yeah, just you guys take him. Like we don't need him. He's
Best
nothing but a
argument.
detriment.
Best argument against collectivism: you don't need credit or blame the actions of people who merely look like you. Applies equally to social justice warriors and those citing Western civilization's greatness. They're not your accomplishments either.
Yes, but I think there is something to be said about joining the tradition that seeks to continue them. I think there's something. Oh shit! There's something important there that I think that position kind of understates. Because one of the things that I found really interesting is when I was talking to a lot of Americans, they seem to think that America is a pan-European country, and it's not. It's an English country. There's a very different worldview that went to creating America than creating France or Germany, for example, or Spain. And I think that the Americans like have kind of not, I don't want to say deliberately, but like there's been a purposeful like, oh, it's the British are coming, we've got to separate from the British. And it's like, well, the thing that Paul Revere said was the regulars are coming, because it wouldn't have made sense for them at the time to think of themselves as being any different because they were British colonists. So it's, and like as soon as you start connecting these threads back together, I could see it like in the Americans I was talking to, like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like the right to own weapons. It's like this is an English tradition of the armed yeoman, who's not only going to defend his country but defend himself from the tyranny of the government. And suddenly your Second Amendment is put in a much wider historical continuity of the rights of Englishmen, which is what the entire argument that the American Revolution is based on is predicated upon, which is no taxation without representation. That's an English inheritance. That's something the English created, and you can't really separate it. And then you put it into this 1,000-year historical continuity that is the search for liberty and freedom, and it just, against the postmodernist, it feels like it has more weight. Because the whole point of postmodernism is to chop these meta-narratives up and suggest that there's no legitimacy to them. But I think that does have a quite solid set of beams that support it, and it's very difficult to attack them and not sound like you're ridiculous. And I think that's positive. I think that's something that is really, really useful. But anyway, sorry, what were we talking about? There's just been something that's been on my mind.
Yeah, I can tell. Some stuff coming down that way, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
The chat's jumped again, so I can't actually go back to the original one, so we'll just have to move on.
Okay. I'll get them up.
Try Ready Player One for a film.
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it. What's it?
Me neither. I remember seeing the trailer for it, but I can't remember what it was about.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh.
Regarding trans, it's an engineering problem, not a social problem. No one would have cared if we had the tech to change genders as good as nature made us, and easily dyeing one hair, chromosomes and all.
Yeah, I mean, if we had
Douglas
like
Murray's point, isn't it?
Yeah, if we had like Starship, Starfleet teleporters or whatever, or replicators or whatever it is, so you can literally change the molecules of a thing, then sure. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is. Yeah.
Sargon stream with Razorfist and Styx Heads on Hammer for the 2020 election. The snark would be fucking amazing. Godspeed and no Sabaton.
I definitely would. I absolutely adore Razorfist's content. I don't get to watch the gaming content because, I need to keep on track with political stuff. But his political rants are great. They're just the most fun things to listen to. Like they're always like a good solid 6 minutes of joy.
How long before blackface is spun as the new woke for worshipping black beauty and trying to understand their lived experiences through method acting?
Oh God, I'm surprised Trudeau didn't try and break out something like that.
Oh God, yeah. China is fascist. It's authoritarian, ethno-nationalist. Plenty of state interference in the economy.
Oh yeah, it's a total command economy. Like you can't do something that the Chinese government don't already have agreed.
Have you seen Kraut's video on China's movements over the years?
Yeah.
The video is called Trump's Biggest Failure. He raises a
Yeah.
lot of worthy points that should really be discussed.
Oh yeah, it was an excellent. Did you watch it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it was really, really good. I've on the plane. In fact, this is why long plane journeys aren't so bad, right? I listened to the audiobook of Francis Fukushima's was it The Origins of Political Order or something like that?
Yeah, some long-winded point.
Yeah.
Title.
But it's really, really good. Gave me some really interesting insights and connected a lot of dots. Which I'm very, very pleased, and I definitely recommend it to anyone else who wants to understand how it is we got here. But one of the things that I found most interesting was his idea of Christianity detribalizing Europe, the Catholic Church specifically being the thing responsible for this. And suddenly, when you start thinking about it in these terms, when you see, like, in Manchester, the Manchester News the other day, I should have done a video on this, actually. There was a Muslim man who chopped off a guy's hand while trying to kill him, yelling stuff like, these white bastards need to get out of my country. Suddenly, it looks a lot more like sort of tribal fighting, tribal defensiveness, and you can see that, like, the people around, just the inheritors of sort of Western Christian society, don't get it because they don't have the same kind of tribal pull in their own mindset. They don't think in sort of these terms because feudalism basically was not the driving force, but the consequence of a society, a broad society that had had familial ties destroyed by the Catholic Church, like the broader familial ties, like for example forbidding cousin marriage, because this is something that happens in Pakistan all the time, and it's primarily to protect property rights and inheritance. We don't do that in the West. And even one of the things that Fukuyama points out is even in the 13th century, women in England were able to discharge of their own property however they liked. So they could own and buy and sell property. And this is radical for the time. Like this is truly radical. And a lot of societies have, like Indian and Pakistan societies, they don't have that really at the moment. So it's really interesting how there are genuinely deep roots to the differences between our societies. And he doesn't take a Eurocentric view of things either. He begins in China and India with this. So, yeah, definitely recommend it. And this Kraut's video was excellent in describing what it was trying to describe. But I just disagree with him about the problem of Donald Trump in this. I think that Donald Trump is a necessary step in a kind of restoration of the moral confidence of the Enlightenment. I think that it has to happen, and I think it's not only foolish resisting it, but counterproductive and destructive to the purpose that we're trying to put across here. There needs to be a kind of gut instinct, and if there's one thing you can say about Trump, it's that his gut instinct that America is a moral good is very strong and is the driving force behind everything he's doing. And so, yeah, I think we've just got to get on board, man.
Yeah, I mean, you need that Ronald Reagan outlook to even identify a issue and then say we're going to oppose that. Yeah. Whereas, if Hillary was president, she wouldn't do that with China anyway. So it's...
No. Yeah, you need to have this sort of gut instinct for it.
There was a more underlining point in this video that I thought was quite worrying, and I wonder what you make of it. Which is if the Chinese model works, that will become the dominant model. Yeah. So what do you do then? Just submit, or do you fight it and probably die?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it? I'll have to think about it.
Yeah. All right. Al Baghdadi is now Al Body Baggy. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Oh God! Oh, don't jump again. Why are you doing that?
Hang on. I'll get the soup chat page and I'll send you some screenshots or something.
I've got back to where I was. So that's all right. Oh, great seeing you at Penn State University, having a beer for the picture, flipping me off. Still wish I could get an autograph on it. Also, oh God, there's a long-ass dinosaur name is the best dinosaur, and I can't read that. Jesus.
Is it Pachycephalosaurus?
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly one interpretation of what good is. No, it's an interesting conversation. But yeah, no, it's nice to meet you too, man. And like I met loads of people, and they were all really, really cool. It's
Someone
really
saying, make Dev join the stream.
he's not in the same room. This is the work room that we're calling from.
Yeah, we've got 20 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
As a US Southerner, I am sympathetic to the Scots leaving the UK until Scottish nationalists start talking about joining the EU after, trading one master for an even worse one.
Isn't it? Like I'm like they're actually represented when it comes to Westminster and the devolved Scottish Parliament. They don't get they wouldn't get shit from Europe. Like it's unreal, and the whole I love Nicola Sturgeon. Well, I wouldn't have called it the Scottish Nationalist Party. Why? Oh well, I have a problem with nationalism. What? That's like the primary purpose of the SNP, isn't it? Oh, not now. Fucking hell, man. I can see. So you know the push for Scottish independence has gone down since the referendum, and I wonder how much of it is down to the SNP looking like a really bad option, like the sort of thing you can look at and go, okay, maybe the English aren't that bad, you know, like compared to this, you know, because they've gone full woke.
It's incoherent as well. I mean, I showed you that clip where she's saying, okay, Scottish independence because we can take back control, we'll have control of our own laws and this, that, and the other. And then we need to rejoin the EU. And I'm like, woman, you can't take one side of the argument when it suits you and then the other when it suits you. It's so blatant.
But it's not just that either. Like, imagine if you're a Scot, just a regular Scot, and like, then you're looking at them propagandizing you from bus stations about racism and transphobia.
Gotcha.
Right? And in fact, I'd be thinking, okay, I just don't want this. You know, I might want Scottish independence, but this, if it's, you know, that or being stuck on a loan in a, you know, with them in charge, like President Nicola Sturgeon.
If this is what independence looks like, I don't want it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Like, you know, there are limits to everything, and that would, for me, would be one of those limits.
Potholer 56 is our guy on climate science. Even Stephen Crowder couldn't handle him.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know Potholer 56. So.
I thought it was Potholer 54. But anyway,
sorry, 54,
yeah, Potholer is he's an expert apparently.
New record for Twitter suspensions for Sargon. You want to talk about your recent suspension?
Press F for Mecha Sargon, you know.
Sure, we'll have a new one set up very soon.
Well, Twitter is like an addictive drug, though. You know,
it sort of points out how pointless the suspensions are because you'll just rejoin and then you know that just changed. So why bother? Anyway, go over point of personal privilege with Lewis. I'm assuming he means Louis Theroux.
Lou Levi, probably.
Lou Levi, sorry. Oh, gotcha.
Points of personal privilege. Well, I mean, like, in what regard? What's happened?
I don't know. I'm guessing there's either a new video or he's talking about the Democratic Convention.
The Democratic debate. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you know, I did some videos on it, so I don't see I'll need to talk about it anymore. I imagine the next one will be interesting. But the thing is, like, the whole field for the Dems is really comically bad. And I mean, I think Hillary will probably end up running because the alternative is just terrible.
I was going to say something, but I can't because get me in trouble. Next time you're in the US, go to Chick-fil-A, make a video, and some point say, people don't choose to love the taste of Chick-fil-A, they're born that way.
I'm not doing a free advert for Chick-fil-A.
Well, you know, there was a Chick-fil-A open in Reading recently in the UK. It's the first ever one, and it was immediately the Labour Party started protesting. It was no one else.
Didn't it get shut down in the end?
It's hilarious. The mall that hosts it agreed to terminate their contract in 6 months, and not only that, they said, "Okay, we will then run past all other openings past the LGBT community in Reading."
Really?
Basically, the mafia, in which they get to decide whether or not a store gets to open.
Fucking. Well, I mean, this is the future we chose. Like, I don't know why we have to agree with everything by the LGBT community. I mean, who are their representatives? Like, I want to talk to these. representatives.
It's a group called, I believe it was LGBT Reading, but they're just a surrogate of the Labour Party. So it's the Labour Party who decides whether or not you can open a store in Reading.
Fucking
So-
magical. Absolutely magical. This
Yeah.
is the future we've chosen. I hope everyone's happy.
Trying to think like Redistan or Red. No. I'm joking, I'm joking. Did you hear about Baghdadi's death and Trump's statement on it? Yep. Whatever, some good jokes that one so far. Sargon, please set up a Streamlabs account. Google is seriously pissing me off with their censoring of super chats. The fact that they take 30% of the donation is just salt in the wound.
Yeah, I really should. I'm sure I tried, but I just haven't had time. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
Epic clash with Vosh when? It'll be a great talk. Who's Vosh?
Vorsh is a communist YouTuber. He recently had a chat to Adam Friended, and it was very interesting. I'd be happy to. I would have arranged it via my Twitter account. Now I'm back, but now that's been suspended. You'll have to get Vorsh to email Callum or something.
Also, if anyone with the universities, if there's anyone from any societies in the States or the UK wants to set up a talk like we just did for the tour, if you message the Sargon of Akkad Facebook page, I'll contact you through there and we'll deal with it. Just letting people know how to actually get in contact.
Yeah. I don't want to leave the country until sometime in the middle of next year.
Yeah, we won't be doing a US tour like that until after Christmas or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it's a pain in the ass being away from my family for so long. To be honest, I don't like it.
Yes.
Things in the UK are nice and easy.
Carl, would you be interested in coming to the University of Iowa to go talk about English liberalism sometime? Well, just answered that, I guess.
Yeah. Just contact Callum and next year I'll do something.
So, Zach, if you message the Facebook page, we'll deal with it. Do you want to talk some more about the situation at Penn State, or are you going to do a video about that?
It was well. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they'll put up. They were recording it, so they'll put up the footage. I'm sure. But it was a really interesting thing, and to be honest, it felt kind of tense. It was weird. There's a lot of tension in the room for the whole thing. Maybe it was just me, being oversensitive in that regard. But it felt like a tense thing. But it was still like. It was good. It was energetic. It wasn't like, because the great thing with the Utah one was really laid back because everyone was basically in agreement. But when there was like a lot of disagreement in the room, there was a lot of tension. But it was quite exciting, to be honest.
Well, that's the best conversations, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean more about the university statement denouncing you and offering counselling to anyone who is, aggrieved by your presence.
Well, I mean, the university should probably offer that counselling if they're that soft. I don't want to prevent anyone.
They offered a statement saying we'll give counselling to any students. I believe the word was troubled by this, and they denounced Turning Point's guest speakers, which included you.
I disavow Penn State University's statements. I don't agree with them. I think that their antithesis, their desire for censorship, I think, is a moral wrong, and I think they should be ashamed of themselves. I think that it's sad that it takes Donald Trump threatening to pull their funding to allow a conservative group to bring speakers they find intellectually stimulating. And I don't think, like with Chick-fil-A and Labour, that the radical left should be controlling who gets to engage in dialogue. I think that's really bad because they are radical psychos who would put us all in a gulag if they think they had the power. Quote me.
Okay, I'll send that out to any press outlets who.
Well, I think that's true. I think that's a true statement.
Yeah, I mean, where's the lie?
Yeah.
American here. Why is Henry VIII so popular?
He's just really memorable, I think. Like he was a larger than life figure if you think about it, and then there are so many different kind of historical threads of narrative that end up tying up in him as well. He becomes quite a focal point for doing loads of stuff. And he was a proper thick boy as well at the end of it with his armor. He's giant and fat, and he went through like 6 wives, killed 2 of them, and
larger than life, and also did a lot of
he also stuff. Because he wanted to divorce, he had to break with the Pope, and set up the Church of England, which essentially brought Protestantism to the UK. But there's more to it than this that I'm deliberately glossing over. And then you've got various wars and other personality quirks about him that make him a kind of larger than life figure. It's a very interesting guy.
Hope you got my cigar at Penn State. Wish I had met you in person. I was the guy in the dark red suit.
Ah, yes, I did. Thank you. I haven't smoked it yet either. It's in my bag actually at the moment.
Nice. In answer to your question, Ready Player One is a VR gaming movie. If you want more anti-SJW media, you should watch Person of Interest. An accurate view of the future can be found in both of these. Is that not
Okay.
kind of what you're working on with that? What was the movie called again? The script?
The Good Christians.
No, the other one, the movie. Yeah,
Demolition
got it
Man.
out yet. Demolition Man, yeah.
Yeah. It's not necessarily anti-SJW. I'm just trying to. I mean,
Well,
well, no, it's not. The point is to just look at the world presented, because it's remarkably analogous to what's happening now, and for similar motives, I think is the important part. But I mean, so it's just a critique of the political environment. But yeah, that'll be out next week.
okay.
Now I'm home.
So
I can work on it.
I mean, I personally took the view after watching it that the creators presumably were taking the piss out of this sort of string of political ideology that was coming about in the 90s. The softism, the men shouldn't be men, there shouldn't be any violence.
Yeah, I mean, Demolition Man itself is definitely a critique of the sort of end state of progressivism.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Speak not Chick-fil-A's name on Sunday. I believe, are they closed in the United States on Sunday?
I believe they are.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the things the protesters were. I'll send you some videos of the protests, actually. I think Paul Joseph Watson came down to have fun with them as well. And
Paul Joseph
one of the things,
Watson?
Yeah, he came down to Chick-fil-A in Reading.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
There's a photo of him on Twitter about it. But one of the things they were complaining about was the idea that Chick-fil-A had given money to a Christian organization, who then gave money to a Ugandan organization.
What a bunch of racists.
But the organization apparently promoted the quote-unquote "kill the gays" bill that had...
Right, okay. Well, that's pretty red-pilled.
Snopes looked into this and found it to be misleading, I believe the wording was. So it's not the case, but okay, good God.
Base Snopes. But yeah, this is pretty wild, and I don't think that they should be allowed to dominate social politics like this. And the only thing it requires us to do is just say sorry, get fucked. So yeah, it's not even
it's that simple.
Yeah, it's not even a great sacrifice on our part, really.
I mean, you had it with your university talks. If the security and the administration just said no, we're not kicking them off. Yeah. Nothing actually happens. They protest and they go home.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened at Penn State. At Utah, they decided to deplatform us, but we actually went to a library, and because they had a big sort of 250-person auditorium there, and it was packed out, and everyone had an amazing time. It was honestly probably one of the best shows I've done. It was just such good fun and such positive atmosphere. And everyone, was there like, yeah, we basically understand that we've got to start talking about the roots of why what we have is a good thing. Because there is something there, there is something there that's really necessary to talk about.
Yeah. Layman's back and rebranded. Have you seen his latest vid? Also, have you two been keeping in touch, or have you distanced yourselves?
I have not. I guess I'm one of the people who's annoyed him, which is a shame because I really like Layman and I like his content.
Okay. Keep up the good work, Daddy Sargon. Loving everything you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Also, there's someone you should probably block on the channel if you look at the chat.
Okay, well, hang on a sec. Honestly, I can't believe people don't have better things to do.
Does he have to pay money to do that as well?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks like he does.
Well, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever you want, man. But yeah, sorry. Carry on.
Kanye West is full Christian. What's your take?
I don't. I mean, I don't have any moral objection to what he's doing. He should be free to make Christian music. I haven't listened to it, but I'm not really a fan of rap, and I'm definitely not a fan of Christian music. So, it is what it is. It's his choice. He can, I don't care if that's what he wants to do. I think it's funny how he's making such a political statement about it. And honestly, I'm not against that at all. I think some moral foundations have to be found as an alternative to progressivism, and that's what Kanye's doing. He's finding them. Okay, great. Let him, more power.
Don't have any super chats right now. I think you've only got 5 minutes left anyway. So,
Great. Well, that tied up very nicely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for.
You want to talk about Alex or something real quick before you head off?
Well, Alex Jones.
Yeah. How was that?
Oh yeah, that was great fun. Like, I mean, you knew it was going to be fun when Alex Jones takes you shooting, man. Like,
Yeah. Should we upload the footage of you on the show to the channel, or should we just put a link on social media so people can look at it?
Maybe send it through and I'll upload it to BitChute. Because honestly, I don't trust YouTube.
Yeah, is it worth the risk?
I don't see why anyone would. You've got to play it safe at the moment, I'm afraid. But yeah, I'll upload it to BitChute. Because it was I mean, genuinely great fun, and I don't know, there was some great. I'm a better shot than I was expecting as well, which is good. But definitely upload it. It was just good fun. There's it was actually quite wholesome, really, because like when he sounds like big and ridiculous, right? But most of it it's not it's not fake, but it is puffed up a bit. But when you're on the range, like everyone's being hyper responsible because everyone understands that you have to be responsible, and so like it felt very safe. I felt very safe when I was there. I didn't.
Did you shoot a 50 caliber or what was it?
Not then. I have done previously though.
Okay. A couple more super chats, and I guess we'll get you off.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about the DSA privilege video, so yeah, he was talking about the point of personal privilege. Please don't clap people.
Right. Well, I could do.
Yeah.
I've noticed that Oxford University have actually banned clapping, haven't they?
I believe they did. I remember seeing it. A headline about
the
that.
last day or two, they banned clapping, so it's actually down to the clicks now. Like that's actually what it is. That's.
I think that guy brought another membership subscription. By the way.
Okay. What's going on, little guy? Why are you so upset?
No comment. All right, we've only got 2 minutes, so I guess you should sign off. And
right. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me, everyone. Just thought I'd just hang out and stuff. I'll try and get Arch and V in that. See if they're around in Rags, if they want to do a proper hangout at some point and talk about just stuff that's been going on while I was away. Because I've missed hanging out with them and chatting with them. But yeah, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all later.